Hello everyone, we are Gaming by Gaslight, and welcome to Stellaris, sci-fi grand strategy 4X type game by Paradox, same people that made EU4. I have been looking forward to this game for a really long time, pretty much since I heard it even existed, so let us not waste time and jump straight on into the game. Alright, so first of all, I did a bit of fiddling off before I started here, just testing the character creator and seeing how easy it is to mod stuff in. As you can see here, I have our logo there, but that's not who we're playing as today. We are going to create a new empire since, as suggested by you guys, the viewers, it is highly desired, as it happens, that we play as Better Mexico, who we started off, we have a current campaign going in U4, so we'll be humans, or should we be the race of man? That has a certain more dramatic ness to it. I like that. It's dramatic. Alright. We do love dramatic. We'll go with human names too, because then we get some more fancy names in there. I think, anyway. You can actually rename everything manually, so we don't have to worry about that. Alright, so I've just been kind of rushing through here. So we've picked our appearance, we've picked our name. We can fine-tune some of this a little later, by the way, when we get into here? Somewhere around there. We'll get to it. Anyway, but right now we're working on traits. These are just like little bonuses and penalties to help make your race unique. Let's see here. I think we want to be an intelligent race. It gives us extra output to our various things. We also, of course, agrarian, extra food, thrifty, extra energy, industrial, extra minerals. These are like the free basic resources in the game. These are the 3 different types of science research we can be developing. We can be adaptive, which gives us more habitability, though also, as you can see, we have only so many points we can take. We're at -2, which means we'd have to take 2 bad traits, like slow breeders and something else, for instance. I'm not sure how useful adaptive would be, since I'm not really that sure of what all the general tactics and stuff are. Let's see, what's this? Talented leaders gain an initial starting level. That's okay. Quick learners, leader experience gains. I don't feel that will be very important. Strong. Gives us extra minerals and army damage. You know what? That actually sounds pretty good. So let us take 1 negative trait. And let's make that sedentary. What does sedentary do? It increases settlement cost and migration time. I'm not overly concerned about that. I feel this won't be that big a thing, and this will only affect members of our primary species. So if we get other races in there, they won't necessarily be picked by that. I think I like that. There's more we could probably work through in here. I don't really like the idea of non-adaptive. Alright, so, you know what? Why not make our... What are our phenotypes? Alright, so humans get probably the biggest variety of all. Let's see. What was the starting phenotype again? Was it 4? I think it was 4. You know what? Why not? What kind of hairstyles do we have? That's a very militant hairstyle. Bird, yeah. It's like 4 different hairstyles in different colors, huh? What is an awesome... You know what? That's good enough. Let's see. Kind of military, also kind of Ooh, that's like straight on armor. Ooh, very decadent. Do we want Better Mexico in space to be decadent? I don't know. I feel that's not our style. Very fancy. I don't know if I like this, though. Color variance. What does this do? Oh, guess I can't pick that. You know what? Then again, why not be a glorious, decadent space people? Does that make sense? I'm tempted to go there, but then again, maybe a less, sort of casual. We don't want to be over the top. And we're not an overly militaristic species, are we? I'm really tempted to go with this one. Very, very nice. What does the male equivalent look like? Well, that's boring. That's very boring indeed. Well, I mean, it's a suit and all, but then again, I guess... You know what? Good enough. This is just going to be our first leader. Nadezhda Kamensky. Why not? We're not going to worry too much about that. We'll be on a continental world. We can actually start in the solar system, so why not do that? Our name is obviously Sol. Homeworld name is Earth. Incidentally, if you haven't been following my EU4 series as Better Mexico, basically the idea is we started off as a Sunni nation, Andalusian nation in North America, and our idea was to conquer North America and South America, and we've kind of gone from there. But what would we say kind of defines our species? Well, I guess we were a spiritualist nation, kind of militaristic. But you know what? Even though we're all militaristic and spiritualist, we were also pretty xenophilic. We like to meet new people and integrate them into our society, and then make them follow our beliefs or something. But anyway, yeah, spiritualist. These are like the sort of ethics that, I guess, sort of like this represents like the defining ideology of your species, and or more specifically, your government. Kind of the species as well. You can end up with drift and stuff going on there. But anyway, as you can also notice, there's sort of like a spectrum going here, and I should actually go back to the worlds thing, so that you might have noticed there's sort of a circular, more or less pattern going on here. So if you're a militarist, we get, it costs more to make alliances, we gain more influence for having rivals, our armies do more damage, and our pops are happier during war than they would be otherwise. On the other hand is pacifist. We obviously can't be pacifist and militarist at the same time, because that just makes no sense. And sort of like each of these are like the opposite, and the opposite of spiritualist is materialist. And individualist versus collectivist, xenophobic versus xenophilic. And the inner one is like, I guess if you're a moderate to these ideas, and then if you're fanatical, that's like, well, you're fanatical about it. You're really into it. Like you're a real warmongering society or a proud warrior race, or you're really into befriending other races, or I guess you're really into like the greater good, which incidentally means more slavery tolerance. Yay, but we're not doing that today. We're a fairly moderate species. We don't want to be too in there. And what do we want for our particular... I think we'll be a theocratic oligarchy. Lower ethics divergence and leaders are cheaper to recruit. It's pretty okay. We could be a theocratic republic. Actually, you know what? I almost like that better. Government is a spiritualistic form of democracy, where a religious council supervises the democratic process and serves in an advisory role. What is this one? Also, 5 years, 40 to 50 years. Let's see here. Government is a spiritualistic form of oligarchy, where a divinely guided council made up of clergy controls the state. No division exists between the state and the dominant organized religion. I see. Now, the one problem I have with this is, to me at least, I don't think spiritualist necessarily means religious, per se. I think you can be spiritual in a sense without actually following any particular religion, but yeah. And then, of course, we could be god emperors with the divine mandate. Getting tongue-tied here, it's just awful. But, I mean, we're not going to be rocking a slave build this time, so if you were hoping to see me enslave the galaxy, that'll have to wait for another playthrough. But for now, you know what? I like the idea of a democracy. We are a modern democracy. Also, you know what? We're going to change our ruler. Because we were Andalusian, so it seems like it would make more sense. What looks vaguely... I don't know. It's a slightly more tanned complexion. Alright, you know what that'll have to do. Oh yeah, going back to this. So, these are like the preference for worlds. Our home world, being Earth, is obviously continental. And then, like, right next to it, tropical and ocean are considered one step removed from that. I'm not entirely sure, or I'm... Oh, that was terrible grammar. I'm not entirely sure if I understand the logic of how ocean is similar to continental, and tropical is similar in that particular sense, but I'll go with it. Sort of like how I don't necessarily understand how desert is one step from tropical. But the idea is basically if you're one step removed from your preferred world, then habitability is like 60% when settling our planets. If it's 2 steps removed, it's 40, I think? Or 20. Yeah, 60, 20, and then 0. Just, they hate living on worlds that are completely distant. So, that's something to keep in mind when it comes to actually settling, and that's why it's also a good idea to have different types of aliens in your empire if you want to be like a really diverse galaxy, or you just build a lot of robots. That also works. But also the big bonus of being spiritualistic is we're much more likely to get psychic troops. And that sounds pretty cool. I like that. Militarist also has some cool stuff. And xenophilic means that we just like meeting new people. I like meeting new people. Hopefully you guys like meeting new people. I'll talk about core sector planets in a moment. Ethics divergence is basically the idea that as your planets and your population gets bigger, you know, people will start developing new and crazy ideas all of their own, away from the central mandate of, you know, I'm not entirely sure if I like this leader look. She looks kind of drowsy, don't you think? Maybe that's just me. Anyway, what's this? The Empire name. Alright. I spent a lot of time trying to think of what would be an awesome name if a Super Mexico united the world. And I decided, let's see how this sounds. Probably, that's like probably terrible attempt at, you know, Pax Romana, Pax Mexicana. Basically the idea is the Mexican peace. I like it. Entire human race united under Mexican rule. What could possibly go wrong? Alright, next is our flag, which again... Ooh, pirate flags. I like it. We have pointy flags. We have round flags. We have zoological flags. There's some cool stuff here. Domination. This was like special stuff. I'm sure this will... I don't think this is available if you didn't participate in the Project Augustus minigame. But we'll see about that. I'm sure it'll be made available at some point anyway. Ooh, that looks... Oh yeah, what would our primary colors be? We don't have free, so we can't actually get a good Mexico thing going here. So, you know what? I say green. We don't have a white in here either, so we can't get that going. Green and red? Ugh, I don't know if I like the look of that. Green and blue? Is that... That's not really blue, is it? What am I trying to get this symbol to say about us exactly? Is my question. Green and red? Maybe a red and green. Red and green? Does that look better? Not really. I have no idea what I'm trying to accomplish with this. But anyway, let's see. What kind of human things do we have? We have fancy star, a fist, some science. We have... Isn't that like basically the HRE flag right there? I guess that's if you want to imply that the HRE unite it. Ooh, which one of these looks better? Fancy stars or just the Earth? I think this, because this kind of implies that we want to branch out. Ooh, but then again, the torch. The torch of illumination. I like that. You know what? This actually looks too dark. We need brighter colors on our flag. We want to let the aliens know that we come in peace. Unfortunately, there's not a brighter shade of red. Kind of wish there's just a little slide wheel. I don't know. I can tell I'm gonna get into the game and then immediately wish that I had picked a different flag. It's gonna happen. You know what? Actually, I like this. No, I don't like that. I do, but I don't. You know what? We'll go with the Torch of Illumination. Why not? Or no. United Galaxy thing. I like it. Okay, I'm gonna stick with it. Final decision. You know what? Wait. Instead of red, let's make it blue. Ugh. That doesn't really look quite what I was going for. Sort of like sea and sky? Or sea and earth or something. I don't know what I'm going for there. Maybe just a solid blue. You know what? I like that. That's good enough. We'll make it sky blue, though. That's not sky blue. That's turquoise. Alright, so then next up, you're gonna have to bear with me with this. I get very particular with this sort of thing. Let's see. Projectile weapons. Mass drive use electromagnetic stuff. Somewhat limited in range. Kinetic energy is good for breaking through shields. This is good for piercing shields. This is effective at medium to close range and ignores armor. So that's good if we want to destroy armor. And missiles have good range, but are vulnerable to point defense systems. Personally, I think lasers are cool, so we're going to go with lasers. FTL, this is a big one. This defines how we travel through space. You can have warp travel, which is sort of like the, as you can see here, it's suggested for new players. Basically, it's just, you just warp from place to place. Not nothing really fancy here. It's free, but relatively slow travel. Hyperlane is the fastest travel, but you're limited to only existing lanes that exist. So basically, we discovered FTL by tapping into some precursor thing. And then wormhole travel, which is the closest thing we have to Stargates right now, until modders actually make Stargates. Unless there's Stargate references in this game. I don't know. Yeah, we build basically giant wormhole stations where we can warp anywhere within range. It says it's for advanced players. I don't want to be, get any early game hubris here, but I think I can handle it. I think. It's pretty fast, and basically the idea here is you can teleport anywhere within the wormhole's range. It's pretty good. I guess we'll go with mammalian ships. As you can see, there's some fancy different ships here. I think there was talk of maybe at some point updating these so that they actually can be recolored or something, but I don't think that's the case just yet, so... Alright. So here we are. We are a theocratic republic. We are xenophiles. We are militarists. We are spiritualists. We are intelligent, strong, and sedentary. We don't really like to move around a lot. Much like modern humans. Alright. We'll save that. I like it. Alright, so we are done. Oh wait, before I do that though, as you can see here, with this, you can actually make it so that you can spawn in, like, your custom created things. Also, these are just sort of, some little things to pre-generated races just so you can get an idea of things or jump right into the game without having to do any of the customization stuff here. And the options with, if you like make your own custom races and you want to see them in the game, is they can be allowed to spawn, so it's a random chance in case you want to have that randomness, because all the AI empires that you can encounter are randomly generated. You're not going to see these guys in here. Probably. I mean, it's theoretically possible that, with an infinite number of variables, these things might end up spawning. But anyway, you can either have it so it's allowed, so it's a random chance. You can force them if you want to, force some pre-created universes in there. Or you can forbid them. We're forbidding this one for now, because I haven't quite figured out exactly what I want going with this. And plus, I figure some modding can come in to add some kind of steampunk, Victorian-era-esque design there, to make it even more Gaslight-esque. Anyway, let us move on. Alright, so obviously we're going to go with the largest possible size galaxy, because, we just have to. Galaxy shape, let's see here. We can have an elliptical galaxy, a ring galaxy, or a what is a ring galaxy? Why is there no tooltip for this? Give me a preview image. I think elliptical is basically, it's a big blob. Ring makes me think that, is it just one ring, or is it a series of rings? I don't know. I don't know, and I don't want to load into the game and then be unhappy with it and then restarts. You know what, let's go with spiral for now. Kind of like the Milky Way galaxy. AI empires, how many can we have? We can have up to 39. I don't want advanced starts. We already are going to have fallen empires. And I actually don't want the maximum number. I want a lot of free space for the early exploration part of the game, so we'll move it down to 30. You know what, we'll have 5 of the 30 can be advanced. Why not? Insane. We'll play it normal for beginning. We can play an Iron Man because why not? And we shall play. Actually, what I'm probably going to do is wrap this episode up shortly with just sort of a preview of things. Like, we'll go over this thing and then we'll pause it here and then we'll start the proper gameplay afterwards. But anyway, let us go with this species introduction. Man, it's awesome playing this. Zoom in, zoom out. Zoom in, zoom... Okay, that might be nauseating. Anyway, so we've got another summary here of what we've got. In the aeons since the first primitive man community... Oh god. I hate that already. It doesn't fit. It doesn't fit. 1 second here.
Blessings upon you, your holiness.
Thank you. No tutorial. Hang on a second. Alright, now I'm satisfied. In the aeons since the first primitive human communities took shape on the grassy savannas... What do you mean, grassy savannas? I thought we were a continental world. Did I screw this up? No. No, I didn't. Anyway, the grassy savannas of Earth. Well, then again, they do say that that's where humanity originated is in Africa, so I guess that makes sense. Alright, never mind. Our civilization has spread and prospered. Great achievements were made, both in the advancement of science and on the spiritual plane, as we sought to expand our understanding of the universe and the role we play in it. A council of our most learned priests was convened to advise our elected leaders, a tradition that continues to this day. Now, after the successful creation of artificial subspace wormholes, the finest minds of the Pax Mexicana have finished construction of the first wormhole station at the edge of our system. The stars themselves are finally within our grasp. Let us begin. I'm not getting that announcement this time. No, oh, that guy that I just shut up immediately was, obviously we're gonna turn on details mode. That was, the tutorial guy, who is good for tutorials, obviously. I guess as the name might suggest. Anyway, let us, I guess before we wrap this initial look and setup type episode, let us just kind of go over things. So first of all, we're in the solar system. We can click on this or hit the M or E keys to zoom out to the galaxy. As you can see here, it's pretty big. Pretty big indeed. Also, I like the fact that we're not right on the outer edge. Reasoning for that is because that's where fallen empires can spawn. We'll talk more about those later. But anyway, so what have we got here? This little blue thing is basically our area of influence. This is all that we can claim belongs to us. Incidentally, Alpha Centauri belongs to that. This outer ring here, if I am not mistaken, is where we can... This is what our wormhole range is. Can't talk today. So we can teleport to any star within this range. Assuming we have a ship here. And this little thing here, this inner circle, is what we can actually see. So we can't really see anything beyond this. We can see the Barnard star. We can rename all this, by the way, and we will by the by. But that is kind of how it starts. And starting in the solar system does kind of influence some of this stuff. It encourages like Alpha Centauri and stuff to spawn nearby. What else do we have? Let's go over the basic things. We can hit F1 to open the government tab. So we have an election overview view. We can see who's here. What is this? Off-world miner. Okay. Bolster the Pax Mexicana's mineral stockpiles by constructing at least 4 new orbital mining stations. Okay. So this is our mandate. This is what I guess we're supposed to do. Let's see. On election day, winners elected revered elders. That's the name of our government. We can also spend influence to get our... I guess, increase the odds of being elected. Let's see. What are Nod? We're just going to call you Naughty for now because it's shorter. Let's see. You're resilient, so you'll live 25 years longer than the average human. That's good. And wow, we also gain an extra influence, which is one of the currencies. You have to do this to spend on stuff like, what do I do here? Where's Earth? There you are, Earth. Right click is to zoom in on you. How do I actually look at you? Oh, I click on the name. That would make sense. We can activate edicts, like re-education. Probably don't need this on our home world. Migration attraction, which encourages people to come to this planet, which would be really good if we had like a new colony that we wanted to get its population up right away. Infrastructure projects. This lowers build cost and construction time. This might be useful if we're going to be building a lot of stuff on Earth. We have a governor of the planet who, let's see, you provide extra happiness, lower construction time, and clear blocker time. We've got this. We can hire a new governor if we want it for some reason. We're producing a lot of extra food. This just shows everything. Your home world is always 100% habitability. Other continental worlds will only be 80% because they're not quite the same as our home world. They're just that little bit different. Alright, so this is what the surface of the planet looks like. This is like showing sort of an abstraction of what all the stuff being produced is. We have minerals being produced here, and as we can see here, there is some kind of building here. A mining network, which is helping produce more minerals. We have someone here. We might want to build a farm on this planet, for instance. So, you know what? Why not? Why not queue that up right away? I like food. We have a power plant here. That's always good. Here is our, probably the most important building on the planet. This is our capital. As you can see by these little arrows here, it provides an adjacency bonus. Everything next to it gets, like whatever it's producing gets boosted more. So whenever you colonize a new planet, and we'll talk more about that later, you want to be very careful about where you place the capital, because it can have a dramatic impact later. These things are, as their name might suggest, they are tile blockers. They are things that, they're tiles that you can't really work, but as you can see, you can remove them. You can't remove all types at the beginning of the game. I mean, all the ones on your homeworld can because they're just sprawling slums and industrial wasteland, and actually seems to be pretty much it. And while they're blocked, you obviously can't use them. Your pops can't work them, and they're basically just taking up space that's being wasted. You can also move your pops around if you want to, get them to work. You probably don't want to put them here because, as you can see, they end up being unemployed if there's nothing for them to do there, and no one wants that. We can build armies for the planet. Orbital bombardment. Let's see here. So we can actually choose how we will bombard this planet. Light, limited, or full. I presume the more you do, the greater the odds are that you're going to kill pops and destroy stuff. So odds are, unless you really don't care about alien life or your own people's life if you're sieging back a planet, then go for the higher ones. We have some defensive people here, so that's good. I don't think we're going to bother recruiting an army right now. We don't need it. We have our spaceport where we can build all our fancy space stuff. Ooh, construction ship nebula. Oh, I don't think that's anything too fancy there. But interesting stuff. We also have our little control group things here. We can actually... Oh, if I just hit Q, I'll zoom in there. Also, if we look at our first strike force, might rename that at some point, we can actually zoom in on them. And I'm pretty sure we're locked onto them right now, so that if we tell them to move somewhere, we'll follow them. Yeah. Or is there a... Wait, is there a lock-on button? Return, stop, merge, all good stuff. Create new fleet, split fleet. We can look at the details of the various ships. There is a ship builder as well. Well, I guess we'll get to that. We have our Empire thing. So far, we have only Earth. We can actually build all the stuff in here. This actually looks like it'll be a very nice screen when we get a whole bunch of stuff going on here. There is a sector limit. We'll talk about those when we get to them. We have our scientists here who are doing all our sciencey things. We have factions. Right now, we have only the Loyalist faction because no one really wants anything in particular. So nothing too exciting there. Contacts. This is where we'll communicate and see all the other fancy nations out there. Both fallen empires, regular empires, pre-sentient and primitive civilizations. Pretty cool stuff. Well, pre-sentient, there's no civilization if you're pre-sentient. We can look at the various species that we know about. So far, it's just us. We can eventually modify them once we learn how to genetically engineer stuff. What does this do? Okay, so we can switch to show only the species in our empire or all the galaxy. I like that. And let's see here. We have the ship designer. We can design various ships. We can actually rename these things. So as far as the Senator, the Engineer, and the Valoris, we'll probably want to change some of this. Situation log. We'll eventually get to see some cool stuff here. We have 2 different victory conditions. I suspect as we play through the game, we'll probably unlock new ones. And those are just ones that you can get right from the beginning. We have our technology, which will be important to pick momentarily. We have our physics, society, and engineering technology. You have different science leaders who can do stuff. They all have their own specialties. And as I level up, they increase the rate at which you gain science. Right now, we're gaining 5 of each type per turn, which is pretty good. We'll save picking that for later. We have our energy, our minerals, and our influence. As you can see, we also have a cap on how much we can store. We also store up various research. So if you don't want to be actually researching anything for a while, you can just hold on to it so it doesn't get wasted. I think that's a nice touch. There's strategic resources, which we'll get to later. These are the number of planets we can directly control without having to put them in sectors. This isn't a hard limit. You can go over it, but the more you go over the limit, the harder it gets to, you get penalties on it. It's kind of like the Demont limit from CK2, if you've played that. Here's our naval capacity. Much like in EU4, you can go over your force limit, but you also end up incurring extra costs. We have basic stuff going on over here where we can see our ships, our military fleets, our planets. There is an options thing. We can actually shift how stuff is showing up. I like that. Multiplayer chat, if we were playing in multiplayer. We have go to go to something. We have search. We have help. I guess that will bring... Oh. This opens up the Stellaris wiki. That's good to know in case we run into help or need help. One. Okay, so we can actually set up some... that's not what I wanted to do. Mr. Military Fleet. I'm just going to have the military fleet enter orbit around Earth, if I can. Where's the military fleet? Let's, how do I... No? I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm just fiddling around with the things as I try to figure it all out. But anyway, let's wrap this episode up here. This is just kind of my quick and messy look at things, setting up a race and getting the campaign started. I want to hear what you have to say about this. The series will... Next episode will be coming up pretty much right after this one, but for now, thank you all for watching. I want to hear what you have to say about this game, if you like what you see, if you definitely want to see this to be a new series or not on the channel. Are you excited to see Mexico finally get into space and no doubt eventually take its rightful place, oh, wrong button, among the stars as the galactic awesome guy? Okay, there's also some unique stuff apparently. Anyway, yes, once again, thank you all for watching before I get taken off track, as I tend to do if I ramble on long enough. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next video.